can we actually build world-class companies from here? Time zone, there's some perceived cultural differences. What are some of those challenges, and we'll start with you, if you don't mind, that whether they're real or not, the perceptions around here that are out there and that we need to be aware of?
Yeah, so I think like all of us have signed up to do things that are very, very hard. The odds are, not in our favor. I'll put that in perspective. Success VP is a fund one. It's a venture capital fund that invests in emerging startups, seed and pre-seed startups. To date this year, I think only 28 funds have made it into existence. High watermark was in 2021 with about 400. I joke to my wife, it's harder to raise a fund right now than it is to go to the Olympics. So it's really hard. If you're, from anywhere, it's really hard, and it's exceptionally hard from Hawaii as well. Challenges, man. There is not an appetite. When you raise a venture capital fund, you raise this money from endowments, from sovereign wealth, from high net worth individuals, family offices. These are, folks who are investing in a risky asset class, but also not wanting to take risk. And Hawaii, just having Hawaii on my LinkedIn profile is a risk, because people don't believe that you can, in fact, do some of the work from here. And so, I don't share with people right away until I've told them my story, until they know that I'm, world class in every, single stretch of their imagination, where I live, where my kids go to school, the community that I'm part of, mostly on the weekends now. And then I get on a lot of airplanes. Brent and myself, we always have this joke. We don't hang out at home in Hawaii. We hang out in New York. We hang out in San Francisco. And so you need face in the place too. You have to make sure that you put in the time, because if you want to operate a global business from Hawaii, that means being global. And that means being in the places as well.
And Brent, maybe continuing on there, I know that you folks have clients all over. That time difference, again, I think the perception as well, right? What's on the LinkedIn? Are you seeing some of the same things, or is there something maybe unique to Reef AI? Because you folks you and Corey really built this with the intention of, we're going to build a company that has a large presence here.
Yeah, I think the experience is a little different than John's experience, because I think post-COVID, I think the world got comfortable quickly with companies being started in lots of different places. And Hawaii was just another place where startups were starting to be formed. I think the concentration of money is gravitating back towards the big centers, New York and the Bay Area. But I still think that startups are being started in a lot of different places. So I did worry going in, talking to investors early on, was that going to be an inhibitor or a big question? And what I found is, in that, especially early on, when you're doing a pre-seed or a seed round, they don't have a lot of evidence to bet on, right? They're really betting on you as the founder. So if you have, my story, if you're crazy enough to get on a plane every week for 3 years, there's, they'll know your level of dedication, right? So I think that the story that you come to the table with, and the domain expertise you have, and the passion that underlies what you're doing, I think carries a lot of weight, right? And so I was lucky enough to find my partner in crime, co-founder, CTO, Corey, who's in the back here. He's on Maui, and so he was a customer when I was at MuleSoft. That was our connection, and he was at Hawaiian Airlines, kind of running technology over there. And we had a shared passion for not only building a great software company, and we weren't building something that was specific to Hawaii. It wasn't climate tech, it wasn't ag tech, it was kind of boring business software. So we kind of had this mission that if we can set out to prove that you can build and scale business software in Hawaii, like, you can do anything here, right? And so that's been a big part of the mission. I think we knew from the beginning we'd never be able to build 100% of the company here. Like, there's just most of our customers, it's going to be a long time before we have a customer in Hawaii, probably. Most of our customers will be elsewhere. And we're going to need to have presence and get in front of them, right? But we believe that we can keep, right now we have 16 employees. I think 7 are here in Hawaii. If we can keep that ratio as we double and triple, like that's creating real jobs, and not just jobs, but high-paying tech jobs here in Hawaii, right? And so our goal is to prove that it can be done, right? Because I think it's going to take a few examples for people to have the courage to make the leap and either start a company or even join a startup. I think one thing early on that was a big challenge for us was we had people we wanted to hire here, right? But they were working at Bank of Hawaii or Hawaiian Airlines, right? And they were really uncomfortable with the idea of joining a startup, right? It's not like Silicon Valley where everybody's eager to jump in and they understand equity and they understand the trade-offs, right? I think here people really valued security and they really valued the brand that came with a big company. And so we struck out early on trying hard to hire people in Hawaii first. But I think a few things have changed. One, working at a big company is not a sure bet anymore. I think the Hawaiian Airlines is a great example of that right now. So it doesn't take the risk off the table, right? And so if you can get passion, find something that you really are passionate about, like joining a startup is not going to wreck your career. It's going to be experience, and it may not succeed, and you may learn a lesson, but that's a lesson that's going to fuel you in whatever you do next, right? And I think it started to shift. Like part of it is Reef getting bigger and the brand getting out there, right? So I think people are more comfortable, but I also think the mindset is changing a little bit.
Now,